Hey everyone, I'm back. It's Kate. This is Validate with Kate. Anyway, so yesterday, I, in the spirit of the name of the channel, validation was my main focus. It will continue to be a main focus, but something else I really, really enjoy talking about, learning more about, just is DBT. Specifically, I enjoy DBT skills. DBT is Dialectical Behavioral Therapy. Dialectical meaning there are two ideas. Like, two ideas can be true at the same time. There's always more than one true way to see a situation. And more than one true opinion idea. Two things that seem like opposites can both be true. Dialectical is you are right and the other person's right. You are doing the best you can and you need to try harder, do better, just be more motivated. You can take care of yourself and you can ask for help. Being dialectical is that it's hard. Letting go of black and white thinking. Letting go of that self-righteous indignation. Finding a way to validate other people's points of view. Which it's so hard. Well, it's a lot easier to spot a narcissist when you understand what validating is an invalidation. But anyway, so yeah, just being dialectical, just finding a way to validate the other person's point of view, something a narcissist will never do. I think I mentioned it in my other video, my first one. But yeah, so DBT for me is really what allowed my recovery to happen. It is, it literally saved my life. I was suicidal. Anytime I was alone with my thoughts, it was just that instant crash into depression. I felt worthless. Just, and then I finally, with the help of some friends, really pushing me to help myself, to get the help that I needed. I started, I got a therapist. I found the ability to accept I needed help. I mean, it's cliche, but, you can only help someone when they're wanting to be helped. I mean, so I was a prime example of someone who desperately needed help for a very long time. And I got it, but I wasn't consistent with it. I wasn't mature. I wasn't taking it seriously. I knew it's what I should be doing, but I was not in an emotional state. Like, I was too emotional. Emotions were taking over, and it was getting harder and harder for me to get back towards the reasonable side of my brain. But anyway, so finding DBT, finding my therapist, who I'm working with now, and her recommending we start doing DBT, specifically distress tolerance, paired with EMDR, which is eye movement or desensitization and reprocessing. And it's highly recommended for any kind of trauma. If you have an extremely high ACE score, those children, those people with high levels of childhood traumas, DBT is amazing. It was originally developed specifically for patients diagnosed with BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. I personally was diagnosed BPD, but I have seen it help, PTSD, depression, anxiety, really just anything, because trauma is trauma, and it can be what they call little t trauma, which are just everyday occurrences that can happen, but for some reason or other, they're not processed, and they stay there with the person, who's experiencing them. And they're not, because there's no resolve, there's no processing, there's no talking about it. It sticks there. And it insidiously begins to really almost metastasize, like it takes over. It's like a cancer. I mean, the longer it goes untreated, the more likely it is to lead to extremely, it can lead to dangerous situations. I personally can attest to that. It's like, but anyway, so let's see, what was I talking about? So borderline, BPD, DBT is just fantastic. It specifically focuses on core mindfulness, interpersonal effectiveness, and now that I'm talking about it, now I remember addressing this in my first video. So core mindfulness, distress tolerance, emotional regulation, and oh my gosh, why is this suddenly like naming the 7 dwarfs? Emotional regulation, distress tolerance, core mindfulness, and interpersonal effectiveness. Anyway, back on track. So, stating that dialectical is that what they refer to as both and thinking. It's getting away from that black and white, that all or nothing. Oh my god, I was so guilty of it. It's around us. It's hard to avoid. It's everywhere. It's spreading. It's an epidemic. It's really becoming normalized, and that needs to stop. It needs to stop. We can stop it. We can reverse it. We can stop the cycle. And okay, so I'm looking at my DBT skills handbook. This one specifically is Fulton, I believe. I think you can find different versions online and just, like, you know, it's available. You just gotta know what it is and what to look for. But anyway, so dialectical, you want to move away from either or thinking to both and thinking. Avoid extreme words. Always, never, you make me. That was one of the best pieces of advice, like the best words I heard when I started therapy and really taking it seriously was, nobody makes you feel anything. You don't make people react the way they do. It is not your fault. You are not to blame. People choose to respond, to react how they do in the moment. And that is not your doing. And I really personally needed that message, and I needed to keep mulling it over and really let it sink in. And because I was just so codependent and took everything so personally. I'm so sensitive. I am a very sensitive person. I mean, but anyway, so avoid those extreme words of always, never, those absolutes, you make me, and then practice looking at all sides of situations and points of view. Remember, no one owns the truth. Be open and willing. Both sides are true. Each person has their truth. And accept that different opinions can be legitimate. Even if you do not agree with them, you can still validate them. Like I said in the other video, just validation does not mean you agree or approve of what the other person or the situation, whatever. So, that's just an idea, like, kind of introducing DBT, dialectical, open mind thinking, basically. Just, like I said before, letting go of that self-righteous indignation, that letting go of the black and white, all or nothing ways of seeing a situation. This is where it starts. This is where what Trent Shelton's big campaign is, rehab time, people. We need to retrain our brains. We need to reparent ourselves. This is huge, and it's important, and I can't wait to see, it's already happening. I mean, the word needs to be spread, and the light needs to be spread, and it starts with validation and validating other people. So, keep it real, y'all. Love you. Love yourselves. Love each other. Bye.